90.1 WECS. Hello, and welcome back to Something Different. All right, just adjusting the dials here at 90.1 WECS. And today I have a special guest, Dr. Karim Ismaili, who is our new president of Eastern Connecticut State University. But welcome, Dr. Ismaili.
Please call me Karim.
Absolutely, Karim. So you've been very busy lately, and I guess what led this whole introduction from me reaching out and wanting to have you down here is you released a Spotify list, and I absolutely love your playlist. There's like, 40 songs on it or something, and
yeah,
like every song I connect with, and I'm like, gosh, I have to have him down here. So welcome.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you reaching out. I'm happy to be here.
I'm going to skip over a few things, formalities. Let's talk about, make sure I have all the recording devices working here. So can you tell me a little bit about your playlist? You said there was a backstory?
Yeah, so what happened was over the course of the year, we were planning for an inauguration. So the inauguration took place on April the 11th, and our director of university relations, Ryan Quigley, sort of had a comment. He goes, "Oh, it would be great if you did a playlist." So being someone who likes music, that stayed in my mind. And then a couple of weeks later, I said to Ryan, I said, "How serious are you about me developing a playlist?" And he said, "I'd love you to do it. I just didn't think you have time." I said, "I have time for music, absolutely." So what happened was one Sunday, I was at home, and I started just thinking about songs, really about songs. There was so what you very kindly said resonated with you, Mark, was just free thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Musical artists, songs I like, that go back through sort of my sort of life, and I thought that would be a reflection of who I am as a person. So I think that with presidents, sometimes people feel we're sort of distant from them or whatever. I love music. I love playing music loud in my car. I have particular tastes in music, and I thought, you know what? If the Spotify list is something that's gonna connect with people, that's great. So lo and behold, people have contacted me about the playlist, and they've really appreciated it, and that's great.
Music is a great way for people to relate to each other, I
Absolutely.
guess.
Music, food, favorite movies. I think all about culture and it connects you to who people are. Yeah,
Absolutely. So I started off by playing Bjork, Human Behavior,
Yeah.
and I remember, I don't think I told you, but I've been doing a radio show here since 1990.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And Arthur's been here a few years before me.
Yeah.
It's definitely community-based radio station here. That a lot of people who started at Eastern and just stayed.
Yeah, great.
Because it's a great way to express our musical our tastes and keep playing music.
Sure.
Do you miss the days of being able to put your hands on your music?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So it's funny how music and how music is appreciated goes through cycles, right? So I always had albums, and I still have albums. I then shifted to CDs, and I still have CDs. And I was actually looking at the CDs here on the case here, and I love just as I do at libraries when you look at books. So I think I actually like the fact that there are different ways that you can access music. For me, I love album art. I love the lyrics being on the page there, and you can look at it. And I remember, when I was growing up, album art was something really unique. And sometimes you would go into a record store and you'd buy the record because of the album art.
Yeah.
I remember doing that a few times, and then sometimes being disappointed with what I was listening to afterwards, but sometimes being really, really happy about it. So I think that piece of what we do, of course, record players and albums are back. But I think that having music accessible and available in different formats just gets people available to in the mood to listen to it. I personally, believe it or not, I have a iPod Classic. I still have one.
Oh, wow.
And so it has essentially my entire music collection on it. And I play that through my car stereo. I can listen to something that evokes a memory, or I'm thinking about something and I'm looking for the song that sort of takes me back.
Yeah.
So I listen to it in many ways.
That's an advantage to the modern day ways of listening to music.
Yeah, definitely.
Kind of hold your access to more songs, I guess, at a fingertip.
Yeah. I'm not a big, I know that there are playlists and you can go to Spotify and you can go to different sort of music sites, Amazon, whatever it is. For me, I like to curate my own music. That's just me. And that's maybe just because I'm of a certain generation. But I like to know what I listen to. I'm not big on, others sort of saying, if you like this, you'll like this. It's just not the way that I function.
Yeah.
But there's room for that as well. Yeah.
I'm going to take let's do another song.
Sure.
And because I have to correct something that's bugging me in my ear. Let's go. We're going to play. So when I started off here back in 1990, what we have here is nothing right now, right, Arthur? It was wall to wall, ceiling to floor, album, vinyl.
I believe it. I believe it.
In between the songs, I'd just be pulling stuff and trying out stuff based on the cover art, usually, often.
Yeah.
But so I started off playing punk music, so I'm going to play one of the closest things you have, The Clash.
Yes.
London Calling. And you grew up in the London area, right?
I did. I grew up in South London, and The Clash, they're one of my favorite bands. Just first of all, their energy, the way in which they evolved sort of punk music into reggae and ska, and the social commentary.
Yep.
So I just love, I love everything about The Clash and Joe Strummer. I followed the Mescaleros, which was his sort of band, and when he passed away so suddenly, it was devastating, because he was one of those people that I grew up with, him and Mick Jones, and the bands that he formed afterwards, Big Audio Dynamite, right? So yeah, I love The Clash.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's hear London Calling by The Clash, and we'll be back. Stand by.
Support comes from Eastern Connecticut State University. With their esteemed faculty and cutting-edge programs, Eastern offers a world-class education that prepares you for success in today's dynamic world. Apply today at easternct.edu.
Hello.
You've got to be on top of a lot here, Mark, I have to say.
There's so many buttons here.
There's lots of buttons. I'm impressed.
So how important was music to you when you first attended college?
Oh, hugely important. I mean, it was, I guess, this is a story I've told. Basically, I was a commuter student at a university in Vancouver, British Columbia, and when I was able to afford a beater of a car, our university was at the top of the mountain, so what you had to listen to in the car was important. I would go to concerts all the time with friends when I could. It was hugely important. I mean, for anyone, I think, of a certain age, I would say that it was kind of, school, part-time jobs, music, and then fun. So it was really important. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved everything about music. Like you, when I was a grad student, I worked at a radio station at the University of Western Ontario. Me and a couple of friends, we had a show that went on at midnight. We went till 2, and we play all sorts of crazy things. And it was I just loved it.
Isn't that fun being a college student and just staying up late and with your friends and having fun?
Yeah.
That's why I loved doing radio so much, and ended up staying with it so long. How about we're going to do some really tough questions now.
Uh-oh.
Some serious ones. Eastern has had 6 presidents prior to you.
Yes.
The past 2 presidents both served for 18 years each.
Yes.
If you spend that much time as Eastern's leader, what do you hope will be listed as your accomplishments? And, let me just say real briefly, Dr. Nunez was here, and this period represents more than 3 times what the average tenure is for an average college president, 18 years. And during her tenure, Nunez transformed Eastern into a learner and student-centered university. For 4 years, the U.S. News has ranked Eastern as a top public regional university in all of New England. And Dr. Carter, I remember Dr. Carter when we first started here. He was the first African-American to lead a 4-year institution of higher education in Connecticut when he was appointed president. One of his proudest accomplishments was having the designation of Eastern as Connecticut's public liberal arts university. Yeah. So what do you think you hope to accomplish in the next several years?
Well, I think that obviously when you sort of think about the leadership that Eastern's had over a long period of time, it's been incredible. There's a lot of continuity and consistency in really striving for excellence. I think that's part of the culture here. I think Eastern, through our faculty, our staff, our connections to the community, I think we are viewed as a really important institution in Eastern Connecticut. And I think we do every day strive for excellence. I have to say that my own view, and I'm not sure I'll disappoint anyone here when I say this, but if I were here for 18 years, I'd be 75. So here's what I will say. I would say that institutions of all kinds, it's good to have new leaders at certain moments. This is not I'm not saying anything about the past, but what I want to do is basically every day do the best that I can. And what does that mean? It means serving our students, making sure that they leave Eastern prepared for life. Their career, whether it's law school or medical school or graduate school, whatever they want to do. Maybe they want to open a small business. I know some of our students already have small businesses. Just do the best that I can and kind of harness the energy that's already on this campus that is focused on success. We have unbelievable faculty, great scholars in their own right, scholar teachers. We have staff that is so committed to our students. Representative student Susan Johnson was here at an event today, which shows that there's a real powerful connection. And if you ask me what I'm looking for, first of all, I'm the kind of person that believes that we collaborate together, we chart that course together. What I do know is that over the next few years, as we've experienced recently, the demographics of our region, the demographics of students that are graduating high school and then going to university, that's declining. It's not a precipitous drop, but that means that I think the university has to think about how we can serve other kinds of populations. The way that I think about that is it's important for us to do that anyway. Why we should try to provide the best of Eastern to a broad range of students that might want to sort of encounter the amazing stuff that we provide. So I think that's part of what I'd like to do. I think the other thing is that I say this a lot. I even said it a few times today at this event that I just left. There is this sort of phrase that I hear often is that Eastern is a hidden gem. So what I would say is that as a new president who's come to Eastern from another state, a bordering state, Rhode Island, not far away, I knew about Eastern before I applied to be the president. Why? Because of its reputation. I think Eastern needs to sort of project that it is a gem, not a hidden gem, because it's known. It's known, It's got an incredible reputation. Our students live across the state, across the country, doing great things. We have Eastern alums in government. We have Eastern alums in medicine. They're everywhere. And small businesses and business. And so the question for me is, and I meet them everywhere in strange, I rented a car at Enterprise Rent-A-Car, and the manager was an Eastern grad. There's an inn that I stay at, and the general manager was an Eastern grad. Her brother was an Eastern grad. Her sister-in-law was an Eastern grad. That's Eastern. That's incredible.
Yeah.
So it's just harnessing that, doing everything we can to advance the mission.
I think many years ago when I first heard about Eastern, it had a great reputation as a teaching college.
Yes.
Absolutely a great reputation for that. And it's grown since then. It's expanded. So I think you have a great idea of doing that.
Thank you.
Expanding upon that. We started off with the Jam.
Yeah.
A town called Malice.
Yeah.
I want to go back to that. And is there anything, a special story behind that song and why you picked it?
Well, A Town Called Malice. If you've not heard it, it's got the most incredible rhythm beat. It's just a great Jam song. I think it's actually not really representative of the Jam in a certain way, but it's the kind of, I guess it's the song that a lot of people have heard or are excited when they hear it because of what it evokes. You can't help but just jump up and down to it. For me, the Jam, again, like the Clash, they were a band of my when I was growing up. And Paul Weller, who was the lead singer of the Jam, I followed his career. He was in the Style Council. I know you like the Style Council.
Yeah.
And then he was a solo artist, and he's still a solo artist. And he's probably one of the most, he's now a kind of an elder statesman of great pop music, soulful music. And one of the greatest albums that I have in my collection is a solo album of his called Wildwood, which is just amazing. And I pop that on now and then. It's just terrific. So the Jam for me, again, it's part of my youth. It's part of my sort of that period where music means everything. Mm. So I never got to see them, but Mark, I know you know this. You can go to YouTube, and even though you can't be in the room, you can see every concert of every artist that you could imagine.
Yes.
I know you played Bjork earlier. So believe it or not, that song, Human Behavior, she played it on Conan O'Brien, right?
Oh, wow.
And if you go in 1993, and if you want to go back, you can watch the performance where she played it for the first time. She was in a band called the Sugar Cubes and all this kind of stuff. And so, yeah, the Jam, I love them. Great.
Excellent. Let's go to another song. I think I'm gonna pick. Oh no, we haven't played the Jam yet. I'm sorry.
Oh, good. Okay.
I started off with Human Behavior, then we played the Clash.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna play the Jam.
Yeah.
Crazy day today. All right, we'll be back with Dr. Karim Ismaili right after we play the Jam.
At Eastern Connecticut State University, we empower you to find your warrior within. Experience a campus that fuels your ambition, engage with dedicated faculty, and join a community that champions your success. Apply today at easternct.edu.
90.1 WECS, and we're back here with Dr. Karim Ismaili. So, Karim, we just played the Jam. We already talked about the Jam. Oh, I want to talk about the Margaret S. Wilson Child and Family Development Resource Center at Eastern.
Yes.
Great reputation there, too. The center promotes the social, emotional, cognitive, creative, and physical development of young children of diverse backgrounds to inspire, support, and educate their families, to provide a model program for future teachers, early childhood professionals, and to serve as a hub of innovative research and professional development. You are not only responsible for leading young adults through their journey in higher education, but you have an opportunity to inspire the next generation of Eastern students who are now attending the CFDRC. If you stick around for 18 years or more, you might be able to see some of them walk down the aisle and get their bachelor's degree. Do you have any advice to offer families of these children?
Yeah, I mean, I think you touched on this, Mark, which is that, Eastern, started as a normal school, right? Dedicated to training the teachers that were going to educate the students of the state. And so that kind of pathway or that connection is a really good one to make. What we want to do is make sure that every student, and this is part of our mission, every student has the ability to access education. And when we think about education and quality education, we, as a university, we think about traditionally aged students, we think about students who are pursuing a degree, but you're absolutely right. They start young, right? And so I think the love of learning, the joy of learning, the mentorship, that our trainee teachers and our education professors provide sort of students as they get older is really important. And what is really helpful about what you just said is that often we sort of forget about, or we don't think about that thread that connects students, like from age, like in terms of age, chronological age. And that joy of learning, that focus on sort of why education matters is something that is done here at all ages, right? We have great professors teaching early childhood education and, focusing on the resource center. So this is all good.
And it's really cool to kind of go down there and see all the young kids.
Oh, it's great.
And having fun, and not only having fun, but learning while they're having fun.
That was a facility designed by David Carter.
Yes.
And I will tell you, Mark, that when my wife and I visited Eastern for the first time, and we went into that facility, I was blown away by the thoughtfulness, the paw prints on the ceiling tiles, the tree, and even I would say the lighting. It's all conducive to kids and obviously students feeling valued, feeling like love, right? And creating an environment where they're happy.
Yeah.
And sometimes things we know are difficult depending on where kids are or whatever, but that's the place where we know that, the resources that we provide them are going to, for those hours, make them happy. That's good.
And then I think you also do that for the older students as well.
Absolutely.
But from what I've been listening to, like all the interviews you've been doing lately, and it's seemed like a recurring theme that you keep talking about.
Well, our students are incredible, right? I will just
Absolutely.
tell you that our students are incredible, and having been here and a student here, it's remarkable how thoughtful, dedicated, thinking about the right things. I'm just so impressed with them.
Yeah. Back when we used to play an entire album by an artist in our cars, you alluded to this earlier, that I had a tradition each spring of listening to the singular adventures of the Style Council with Peter Weller. Amazing. It just... with everything starting to bloom and turn green, it just had a refreshing feeling for me, just driving around the back roads of Connecticut and listening to this kind of music, especially after a long, cold winter. Can you think of an album that you played regularly for a certain occasion? It doesn't have to be something like this.
Yeah.
But
I mean, there are lots of albums that I play depending on my mood, depending on sort of like what the drive's like. But an album that comes to mind right away, and one of my favorite albums ever, is an album called In Rainbows by Radiohead.
Oh.
So In Rainbows is just it's just a beautiful, melodic, rhythmic album with, Tom York singing the way that he sings, which is just, he's got the most incredible voice. The band is tight, and the songs are superb. And you just when you think the song is going to go in a certain direction, and maybe even end, it goes into a different direction, and it hits another layer, or even rises to another level. And I just love that about it. And even sometimes when I listen to the songs, I bet that album goes back, I don't know how long. It's like maybe 15 years. But even now when I listen to it, sometimes I'm a little bit surprised about what I'm hearing. You know, it's like you catch things and they're so thoughtful. So that's the album to me that I could play over and over and over again and never get tired. I just love it.
That's a great group for sure. Recently inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Didn't show up. Well, two of the members.
Two members,
did.
yeah.
Songs and their lyrics can truly inspire and affect people in amazing ways. Sad breakup songs help us get through rough times. You'll Never Walk Alone can rally 60,000 Liverpool fans when down 3-0. Born This Way is an anthem for diversity and self-acceptance. Is there a song that touches your soul in a profound way?
That's a good question. So, there were so many songs. It's really hard to isolate one. But if I were to pick one, you know, again, I'm going to go back to sort of when I was really, really focused on music. And this was the period when my favorite band at the time was The Police. And so I think it's got to be a Police song. There's so many of them. I'm trying to think of one that really stands out. I'm going to say it's probably Can't Stand Losing You or something like that. You know, The Police had, I think they did 5 studio albums. That was it. And they were the biggest band in the world. But I started listening to them when I was a kid. And I must have been 11 or 12. And I think their first album was called Landis d'Amour, Outlaws of Love. And that's had Roxanne, Can't Stand Losing You. So these are kind of that's the music that when I think about, does it evoke something? That evokes me. Now, is it the lyrics? It's probably more the mood. It's probably more, of course, lyrics are important, but it's probably more the mood for me. In fact, my wife jokes that I don't really listen to lyrics, right? I do, but I sort of like, it's the package for me. So I would say that anything off that album, anything off the second album, Regatta de Blanc, Walking on the Moon, I love, you know, that kind of thing.
I can definitely relate because I rarely listen to lyrics. In fact, recently I've really been like forcing myself to listen to lyrics more, but I really draw like emotional energy from the melody and the way it's presented. And there's many ways to listen to music and appreciate it.
Absolutely, yeah. And there are some lyrics, like here's a song that really made a difference to me. Bruce Springsteen's Born in the USA. I know every word. I think many people know every word. It's one of those songs that just evokes so much, and it's often misinterpreted, right? But I would say that's a song that, from a lyrical standpoint, is really powerful. Yeah.
We've got a powerful song coming up, and I want to make sure we have enough time to play it. So next I want to play the XX because that's one of my favorite recent bands. We're going to play Dangerous, and we'll be back with Karim Ismaili, president of Eastern Connecticut State University. Stay tuned.
Support comes from Eastern Connecticut State University. With their esteemed faculty and cutting-edge programs, Eastern offers a world-class education that prepares you for success in today's dynamic world. Apply today at easternct.edu.
The XX Dangerous. Wow, such good music. Thank you for putting that on your playlist.
Oh yeah, it's, they're a great band.
My favorite song by them is VCR. That was
it's great.
the first song I heard by them, and I fell in love.
Yeah. They're superb.
Music is an amazing thing. You know what? Before we go, I want to. You know what? I didn't tell you about this one, but are you going to be going to the Boombox Parade on Friday?
I didn't even know the Boombox Parade was happening on Friday.
Yeah.
So am I going on Friday? Maybe. Yeah.
I hope to see you there.
Is that Wayne's?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was going to say, have you heard of it?
Oh yeah, I have. In fact, Wayne Norman was at an event today, and it's been so busy. So that's happening on Friday.
It's huge.
Great to know.
Huge.
It's great to know. What time does that start? Do you know?
It starts at 11, I think. People rally down by Gilson Square around 10:30, and it's huge. There's always all the politicians from Connecticut show up. Even in non-election years, there's so many people.
Thank you for letting me know.
And I have always noticed that Dr. Nunez is always on that float that goes by.
Well, it's funny because no one's asked me to be on a float, but I've heard so much about it. And Wayne is such a great friend of Eastern's.
Yes.
So,
yep.
yeah.
Wayne Norman. I actually interned for him when I first.
Is that right?
Before we go, I want to play a quick game with you, if you don't mind. It's called Lyrical Ponderings. I'm going to give you a song title that is in the form of a question, like Hathaway's "What Is Love?"
Yeah. Okay.
What is love?
Yeah.
You can tell me who sang the song or answer the question.
Okay.
Pick a number between 1 and 201.
14.
Okay, here we go. This is too easy. Should I stay or should I go?
Oh, no, you got to be kidding me. All right. So we know who that is, right? The Clash.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have to give you another one.
Okay.
Usually, people rarely get this. Well, I usually talk to artists and they rarely get it, and they're usually younger. So, here we go.
All right.
Whoops, it keeps moving. Ready for it?
No, don't know. Need a question.
Answer the question.
Ready for it.
Are you ready for the Boombox Parade?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
That's Taylor Swift, 2017.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't have got that.
Yeah.
No,
I wouldn't
I'm sorry.
either.
For all the Swifties out there, I know people are obsessed. My goddaughter's obsessed. I'll get there in maybe 15 years.
She's an incredible artist and business person.
She really is. Yeah, I mean, I know of her. Of course, I know her music, and I know she's an incredible phenomenon and very empowering for young girls and women.
Yes, absolutely. I heard some statistics like the sales of guitars, acoustic guitars, skyrocketed when she first started getting popular.
I believe it.
It's a positive thing.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Speaking of positive things, I want to play one more song as we go out.
Yes.
A Tribe Called Quest, We the People.
Yes.
Amazing. Can you tell me why is it important to you and on your playlist?
So, A Tribe Called Quest. So there's a genre of music, of course, that they're connected to. There's a time, when these hip-hop bands and rap sort of bands came before. I think about De La Soul. I think there's so many bands, and I have all those records. Tribe Called Quest were incredible, but this song is particularly important for me. Right after the 2016 election, Saturday Night Live had a show. Dave Chappelle was the host, and A Tribe Called Quest played this song. I don't want to get into political commentary, but what I will say is it resonated for me.
It definitely resonates.
Yeah.
And the timing was perfect.
It's who they are. I respect Tribe Called Quest and everyone who sort of can just in their brilliant artistic way convey a message.
Absolutely. So we'll end on that. Thank you, Karim, for coming down.
Thank you, Mark.
Welcome to Eastern, and I'm very confident. Getting good vibes coming from you. I'm sure you're going to have a great time here, and students are going to thrive here under your leadership.
I appreciate that. I'm already having a great time.
Good.
Thank you for inviting me.
Stay tuned. We've got right after this song coming up, the top of the hour is the New Music Alliance Radio Hour. This week is featuring our 6-year anniversary. You'll hear Mark Sherry, the executive director of the New Music Alliance, as well as Mistress Miriam is on the show. I took the week off, but it's a great show, great playlists. If you like original local music, stay tuned. 4 o'clock, the New Music Alliance Radio Hour. Now let's go to, and this is the track we're playing is from that Saturday Night Live performance.
Oh, is that right?
Here is A Tribe Called Quest.
Ladies and gentlemen, at long last, make some noise for A Tribe Called Quest.
We need everybody. If you're looking at us, stand up, touch somebody next to you. Everybody in here, stand up, one fist up in the air. We are all one. We are the people.